the uh, Complacency of Eternity. Several months ago, I read a book that Mary found in the library in San Juan del Sur and brought back to Portland, called The Geography of Bliss. And I should have looked at the name of the author before I did this video, but I didn't think I was going to do this video right now. And he traveled to 10 countries and asked people, "Are you happy?" And then after they answered, he said, "Why?" And toward the end of the book, he broke out this concept of the complacency of eternity. And he didn't go on for a whole chapter about it, but the idea of it is, if you sincerely believe that you're going to go somewhere after your body falls apart, you don't really need to be too anxious about good works or solving problems while you're here. You can be complacent. And that starts out with me that a lot of people don't feel like they need to screw down hard on the question of climate change. Not only what are we going to do about it, but are we actually going to acknowledge it? I see a reel here of Barack Obama saying back when he was running for re-election in 2012, well, the Republicans, the 99% of all of the scientists in the world say that we have climate change due to human activity, but the Republicans don't believe it. Well, I think that's true. And it's also the average person. I keep thinking of and mentioning when I was 5, 6 years old, the country was mobilized against Hitler. And people were collecting the aluminum foil off their chewing gum wrappers and their cigarette packages and carrying lard to the butcher, which was going to be converted into gunpowder some way. Gas was rationed, sugar was rationed, meat was rationed, and I always say everybody, I know there were those who either secretly or vocally were rebelling against that. But all the people we talked with, and the sense I had was people were mobilized. They felt frightened that Hitler was going to take over the world and subjugate us and make us conform and keep our mouths shut or kill us. And so mobilized. There ain't no mobilizing going on yet about climate change. 10% maybe are buying electric cars by now. Some people are putting on solar panels. But the idea of I'm going to eat more carefully, I'm going to eat more plant-based. Meat takes so much more carbon to produce than beans, both of which will give you nitrogen. No, not ready to mobilize. Complacency. And one of the few things I'm really hopeful about is that the Speaker of the House lectured some Republican colleagues the other day about religion and saying we don't have enough moral values in our country and so on and so forth. I agree with him totally, although we'd have a fierce debate about which moral values we should be stressing. I think we should be stressing helping poor people and minorities and old people. But anyway, in his bringing that up at all encouraged me because part of his remarks were, and by the way, church attendance and church membership is dwindling all over the United States. And that is good news for me, because if people start looking at what's happening in the world, you might call it scientifically, I don't like to call it that, it's the cause and effect of the natural world. If they'll start looking at that, then when they see that the glaciers melting and the polar bears starving they'll think, my God, we got to do something about that. But as long as they can go to church and chant something about some personality up there that's going to fix things for us, give me a break. When I was 21 was when I got my eyes opened as to that, when I prayed vigorously for all night for my baby son's survival and didn't get any help. Then I began to open my eyes, and they've become more wide and wide open ever since. But this complacency, but the good news is that more people are gradually relating to the natural world and what's really happening, and fewer are going to church. I want to add on the way out the door, because my friend Luther Strong's funeral is going to be in a couple of days, and there's going to be a lot of talk there about all you got to do is believe in God. Well, I feel very sympathetic and supportive of black people who still believe that stuff, because they were living in absolutely intolerable conditions where the owner could sell your wife and children out from under you, or the owner could sell your husband and the father of your children right out from under you, and you could be whipped out in the field to go to church and pray and ask God to help and feel like he was going to. That was powerful stuff, and I can't be judgmental about that, but I can ask, hey, why do we need it so much now? Why don't we get out? Why don't we encourage our kids to learn to read earlier and get the yoke of oppression thrown off? I know a lot of the answers why that is, and I'm not real judgmental about it, just a little. Okay, I guess that's enough on that subject.